Okay. Good afternoon. This is Prophet Rohei Nabi coming at you. You know, I had something on my mind today, and it's been on my mind for some months, on and off, on and off, and I forget to talk about it. It'd be so many things that the Most High be giving me in my mind during the day that I really need to write these things down or do a voice note of it. Because some of these subjects are things that I like coming back to, studying, kicking around, introducing to other people, see what they think about it. And, just to, get people's minds off of the same little thing and thinking about the same things the way they always do. And that's why I like meditation. I like critical thinking. I like looking at problems in life and twisting them and looking at them from another angle, another facet, so I can have a clearer understanding of my life, my family's life, my people's life, how we fit in this world. And so I've come up with a topic that I'd like to introduce to you all. I don't think I've ever talked about this topic before. And I've labeled it the 3 dimensions of determining how Black you are. Okay? The 3 dimensions to determine how Black you really are. Now, this is not going to be anything that you've ever heard before, I don't think. I'm going to wager, if I was a gambling man, that you've never heard this way. It has a lot to do with colorism. Hey, what's going on, CG? Shalom. Shalom. It has a lot to do with colorism and my experience with colorism. And it overflows into racism to some degree. What I want to do, I think I'm going to begin by showing you a clip. I'm going to share my screen with you all, and I'm going to show you a clip that actually spawned this idea today. I've been thinking about it before, but today it resurfaced. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to share my screen with you all. Hopefully my computer behaves today, because I tried to do this the other day and I had all kind of problems. Okay, look like it's going to work. All right. Okay, it looked like we're in there. Let me get my audio on point here. I want y'all to be able to hear dynamic audio. And I want to play this for you. This is from someone else's channel. Her name is Chrissy. Chrissy. It's a female. And this is on her channel, CHRISSIE. And the video that she has on her channel is called Cheryl Underwood, Sharon Osbourne, and rapper Eve fight over Meghan Markle being Black on The Talk. That's the name of the show, The Talk. So I want you to hear her commentary, and then I'm going to I'm going to layer my commentary on top of hers as she addresses this issue. Because I really believe that our people and most people in the world, they miss a key dimension of Blackness whenever they're talking about Blackness. I rarely ever hear it mentioned. In my whole life, I've never heard anybody expound on this dimension of Blackness. And it's been to our detriment. Let's keep going. Okay, what's going on here? Oh, I'm not even plugged up. Hold on.
Comedian Cheryl Underwood, rapper Eve, and Sharon Osbourne get into a little disagreement about Meghan Markle being Black. And I'm assuming she came up because her and Prince Harry are pregnant. That's what I'm assuming. And in the clip that I saw, which is on Twitter, and I'll leave the link in the description box because I don't want to play it and get like a copyright or anything, an issue with copyright. But in the clip, you see Cheryl Underwood, which is a very dark-skinned Black woman, saying that Meghan Markle represents bringing Blackness into the royal family. Then
now you heard that? Now Cheryl Underwood is the darkest, heaviest woman on the show. And I think most people would say that she's the most unattractive woman on the show. I'm not saying whether she is or not. I'm just saying they would say because she is heavy and because she is dark and she is loud, one of the louder women on this show, they would say that she was one of the most unattractive women on this show. Hey, y'all know that's how it is. Y'all stop getting all sensitive and stuff. Get out your feelings. I'm trying to get to a bigger point, okay? Don't do that to me. You can't even get the point because you go and run into your feelings. Listen, just listen.
Sharon Osbourne chimes in and she says she's not Black. And then somebody on
Now, Sharon Osbourne is the whitest woman on this show. And she says Meghan Markle is not Black. Now, she knows that she has a Black mother. That don't count with Sharon Osbourne. And Sharon Osbourne is from the UK. She's Ozzy Osbourne's wife. So this is the whitest white woman on the show. Now she's saying that Meghan Markle is not Black. Now, wait a minute now. We know there's a pecking order as far as who to believe in this world. Who has the greatest amount of credibility in this world? Is it a heavy Black woman, dark-skinned woman, or is it a super white woman from England with a British accent whose husband is a rock star and she's married? I don't know if Cheryl Underwood is married or not. And I'm going to tell you how I feel. I feel like Sherry Underwood is not married just by the way she carries herself as a woman. Now, I'm going to Google it right now and see if I'm right or wrong. I don't mind sticking my neck out there and being wrong, y'all. That's how I sharpen my that's how I sharpen my discernment skills by trying the spirit. I'm going to put in husband. I would be surprised if this woman is married. Okay, she was married. Yeah, I didn't think she's married now. Well, let me make sure. I don't want to jump to no conclusion. I don't think she's married. Oh, she named were married for 3 years when he took his own life in 1990. Wow. So her husband killed himself. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. But anyway, for 3 years when he took his own life in 1999, reports TMZ. She previously discussed overcoming her struggles with people. I've been through a lot, the comedian said, but it's not all woe is me. Oh, okay. So I don't think she's married now. This don't sound like a woman that's married. It really don't. I mean, she don't. No, no. And I'm not surprised her husband killed himself. I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just saying. It's no shade. I'm just I'm just saying. I'm kind of surprised she was even married ever. But anyway, so Sherry Underwood is the loudest. She is the darkest and the heaviest woman on the show. And they cast the show this way for a purpose. They're casting the show this way for a purpose. You got the whitest lady on the show who says that Meghan Markle is a white woman. Let's keep listening.
Who said this, but somebody said that she is Black. Then Sharon Osbourne comes back and she says, but she doesn't look Black. So then Eve jumps in and she says, well, Black people come in all shades and colors. And then the audience, of course, starts clapping, right? Then Eve says, well, who does and doesn't look Black is a different conversation. And that's a conversation that we should save for another day. She says something like that. And then the clip cuts off, okay? So I'm going to tell you what is significant to me about this and why I wanted to do
this. And I like these type of analysis that I do, because especially when it's a woman, and this Chrissy, she seems to be a very intelligent woman, very clear thought woman. I don't say I agree with her on everything because I don't know what her worldview is. I'm sure I don't agree with it, but to some extent. But she is a very crisp thinker, and I appreciate that.
Do this video. First of all, Meghan Markle has come out a long time ago, specifically stating that she is biracial. Okay, she was very.
Now you see this picture of Meghan Markle, right? Let me tell you something. One of the dimensions to Blackness is how you look. I will say it again. One of the dimensions, of the 3 dimensions of Blackness, is how you look. I'll say it again. One of the dimensions, I didn't say all, I didn't say the only dimension. And a lot of times I have to talk like this because a lot of people hear stuff you're not even saying. One of the dimensions to Blackness is how you look. Don't run too far with that, y'all. Just let that stay there as this unfolds, okay? Just let it stay there. Don't go crazy with that. Don't postulate too much just because I said that. I'm going to explain exactly what I mean so you don't have to guess and postulate.
Careful with her words, but she never said she was a Black woman.
Listen to this. To describe something as being black and white mean it is clearly defined. Yet when your ethnicity is black and white, the dichotomy is not that clear. In fact, it creates a gray area. Now, this is what she says. Being biracial paints a blurred line that is equal parts staggering and illuminating. To me, this is a whole bunch of googly gook. That's what this is here. This is just a spell she's trying to cast because she wants to give the illusion that she's confused. And so what she does is cast a spell with words to confuse you, just to keep the door of ambiguity open. That's all this is, y'all. Come on, this is a young girl. She's not intelligent. Not like a 50-year-old man. She's not. She's not intelligent. This is not intelligent. This quote right here is not intelligent. And it's meant to be unintelligent. It comes from a person that's not intelligent. She wants to be, quote unquote, racially ambiguous. She even got the word ethnicity in here. There's nothing ethnically ambiguous about this woman here. Nothing. This lady is being coy because she wants to be in a gray area, and that's fine. The gray area could have her. We don't want her. She don't want us. Thank the Most High for that. We don't want you, honey. So you could just come out for what you really want to be. She really wants to be a white woman. That's what she wants to be. So the best way to be PC, she throws out all this ambiguity about ethnicity. But you can't fool me, silly girl. The girl clearly wants to be white. She wants to be white. Yo, let me tell you something. This girl looks white. She wants to hide behind the shadow of being white. Now, she wants to hide behind the shadow of ambiguity, but claim whiteness. That's really where her heart is. That's really where her soul is, her mind is, her dream is in that. Her fantasies, her ambitions, they all lie on being Caucasian. That's what she wants. And that's fine with me. That's fine. But let's keep going.
When she said she was biracial, okay? She didn't deny her Black side, but she did say that she was biracial, okay? Then on the talk, you have a white woman saying that Meghan Markle is not Black, okay? And then you have two visibly Black women, one dark skin and one brown skin, saying that she is Black, okay? So the only people in this particular equation that are not making the distinction between biracial and Black are Black women. And this is so typical with Black women. And, I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is why mixed women and biracial women will never lose their throne in the Black community. The mixed woman.
Okay. So this lady is concerned about light-skinned women or biracial women losing their throne among Black people. See, there are some dimensions to this that this lady is just simply not going to address, that I'm going to address. While there is a dimension to your Blackness that's based on how you look, there's another dimension to Blackness. And that is your ethnicity. There is another dimension to your Blackness. And it's not just, it's separate, but related to your color. Sometimes. I'm going to say sometimes. And that is your ethnicity. Let's look up the word ethnicity. Let's get a formal definition of the word ethnicity. Just a moment.
Here's the definition of just a minute, moment, second, etc. Used to ask someone to wait or pause for a short time.
Ethnicity. The fact or state of belonging to a social group that has a common national and cultural traditions. That's your ethnicity. Let me say it again. The fact and state is a fact and it's a state of belonging to a social group that has a common national or cultural tradition. That's what an ethnicity is. Okay. So you can look dark as I, and guess what? Have a different ethnicity. Why? Because of your sense of belonging, how you were raised, what your desires are, your ambitions are, and how connected you are to the ethnicity that you ascribe to. I think you can be selective about your ethnicity. You can't be selective pretty much about how you look, but you can be selective about your ethnic background and your expression of that ethnicity. Y'all, I know this sounds crazy, this definition of ethnicity I'm giving, but I'm giving you a spiritual definition because too often our people, we rest on only what we can see and hear. We never hardly factor in what we can discern. And what I'm talking about, not discerning so much what you can see and hear, but how things express themselves. Because I want to tell you something. I know some people that was raised in the hood. And guess what? Their whole life revolves around being white, being with white people, desiring the things of white people, even though they was raised in a black household in the ghetto. Yeah, they really not down for us. They really not. You know, like how some people say they were born gay. Guess what? Some people that are black were born white. They just have a natural predisposition for everything that's of white people. They really do. From entertainment to sports to spirituality to music, everything about them is white. I know people like this. I went to school with people like this. This is another dimension to race that a lot of people don't take into account. Yeah, they go take the DNA test. Yeah, they find out that they're E1B1A, and people obsess over that stuff. But you never see them give a study about all the dimensions of blackness besides DNA, besides biology. They don't, besides how dark a person's skin is, or how light it is, or what the texture of their hair is. They always leave out this third component. They always leave out this third component of race identity, nation identity. And I'm wondering, I always wonder, why is that? But anyway, I digress.
She told you she was mixed, and they do. I mean, they do this. They community with Black women, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is why mixed women and biracial women will never lose their throne in the Black community. The mixed woman, she told you she was mixed, and they do. I mean, they do this. They other themselves all the time. Mixed women and
yes, they do.
Right?
That's true.
In this situation, the white woman told you she was mixed and she was not Black, but it's Black women one drop ruling Meghan Markle in
let me tell you what's up with the one drop ruling in Black women. A lot of real dark women, because women are the weaker vessel, they always want to gravitate towards the strength. And so the strongest man in the world right now as a world ruler is the white man. So the dark-skinned woman wants to make Merrill Markle, not all, y'all, not all. I shouldn't have to say that, unless you're just stupid. Somebody always got to say not all. But the dark-skinned woman, she's always going to want the Marilyn Markles to be Black. Most of the time, they're going to want that woman to be Black. Why? Because that's what they aspire to. That's what they aspire to. And this is their way of saying, you know what? If I get a zaddy and have a baby, she might end up being a Marilyn Markle. And that'll give me an inroads into the kingdom of white mommy, white daddy. So the dark-skinned woman, that's the reason. The light-skinned woman, the reason why she wants Marilyn Markle to be, because she knows that she's closer to of Marilyn Monroe, skinned. She has light skin, light colored skin. She's even closer. So she's not going to make this woman white, even though she says she's biracial. But the dimension that none of these women look at is that spiritual dimension of how she expresses herself as a person, preferentially. Because see, that preferential expression of who you are, it really tells what you really believe you are. It really does. Let's keep going.
The Black community, okay? And y'all been coming to my channel every other day for 3 whole years, telling me that mixed people are Black, telling me that white people see them as Black, and telling me that white people see light-skinned people and biracials as the same as dark-skinned people, and telling me that they don't make the distinction, which we all know doesn't make sense, because if y'all are always saying that colorism is rooted in racism and the color hierarchy was created by white people and has been maintained through the system of white supremacy, then clearly they see the difference. Okay, they have to see the difference between light and dark when if they elevate light women over dark women in their media.
Exactly.
So it can't be both. It can't be, oh, they see us as all Black, but they also created colorism.
Right.
And they also perpetuate colorism in their media. If they perpetuate colorism, then clearly they see the difference. And Sharon Osbourne is proof that they see the difference.
Exactly.
Sharon Osbourne is not looking at Meghan Markle and saying, oh yeah, you are she is just the same as Cheryl Underwood. No. They do see the difference, and mixed people also see the difference within themselves. And be clear, people, I am not saying that Meghan Markle has never experienced racism. I am not saying that she's never been called the N-word by white people, especially, being married to Prince Harry, or, when the news broke of them being engaged. Yes, a lot of racist white people came out the woodworks. We all saw what she went through, okay? But to say that because, a biracial person is called the N-word and a...
Howdy, folks. For under $20, you can fill up with KFC's 10-piece chicken feast and even have some leftover in case a guest drops by. Motorcycle at the table? I do not approve!
So now let's throw this in here, because let me see. Somebody just put something in the room here. Hold on a second. I had to click away, and I'm going to deal with this because this is a good this is a good point that I need to really express here. Yeah, hey, what's going on, Ezekiel 37? Shalom. Hey, what's going on, Mega Earth? Listen to this, y'all. We know what Numbers 1:18 says, okay? We get that. We get it. Your houses, let's just look at it. Let's look at it. Numbers 1:18. Let's just look at it. And this is the problem with a lot of scriptures. And when I say a lot of, I'm talking about the way people express these scriptures. You got to really watch people with scriptures. You got to really watch them. Numbers 1:18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers. Absolutely true. According to the numbers of the names, from 20 years old and upward by polls. So your lineage is determined by the house of your fathers. Okay? Your lineage is determined by the house of your fathers. I want to show you something else, y'all. I'm going to show you another standard that you never hear Israelites talk about, of how your lineage is also established. Another dimension to establishing your lineage. You don't hear Hebrew Israelites talk about this. Don't even go search the internet. Just stop it. They're not, no, this is a whole nother dimension, because we are letter of the law people. So anything that's of the spirit, we're going to ignore it. If it's not in ink and on paper, we're going to ignore it. So that means that the Holy Ghost, the Ruach, can't even tell us anything. Why? Because it don't talk to you all the time by ink and paper. Let me say it again. That's not the only way the Ruach communicates to his people. It's just by ink and paper. You gotta watch Hebrew Israelites that are real strong about ink and paper exclusively. You gotta be very careful. When you go to Numbers chapter 12, it makes it very clear that there are other ways that the Most High express itself to us besides ink and paper. But, you know, if you're a Hebrew Israelite, you know, is it in the Bible? You know, and that's it. If it ain't in the Bible, it's no way it could be true. No way it could be true. No way. No way the Spirit could teach you anything outside of what is written in the Bible. It's no way. That's what Christians teach. That's what Hebrew Israelites teach. And you wonder why there's so much error. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm going to leave that alone. I digress. But I want to show you another way. Let's look at Luke 10 through 13. I don't want to really give a Bible study, but a lesson. That's really not what I wanted to do. Matter of fact, I was trying my best not to give a lesson from the, scripture lesson. I was just wanting to share these videos with you. But look. But into whatsoever city you enter, receive you not. Right. Hey, baby, how you doing? Good. How's work? Good. Good. Go your way out into the streets of the same and say, even the dust of our feet, which cleave unto us, we do wipe off against you. Notwithstanding, be ye sure of this, the kingdom of Yahuwah is come nigh unto you. But I say unto you that it shall be, watch this, it shall be more tolerable in the day of Sodom than for that city. Isn't that interesting? That it invokes the name of Sodom. Isn't that interesting? And there's another scripture that I wanted. Now, my point in going to this scripture is that when we pick up the customs of a nation, we become the sons of that nation. That's the point that I'm trying to bring to you. Yes, genealogy is biologically, yeah, it's established by the seed of your father. Absolutely. Just like the Bible tells us in Numbers 1:18. But guess what else? It depends on what you are beholding. The Bible says, by beholding, you become changed in the same image. That's what the Bible says. So if by beholding a nation of Babylonians, you start dressing like Babylonians, talking like Babylonians, living like Babylonians, raising your children like Babylonians, guess who your father is? Nimrod. In the spirit. Stop, just stop. In the spirit. Yes, it is. That's true. That's why in John 8:44, Yehoshua told the Israelites that were leaders in Israel, you are of your father, the devil, and the works of your father you will do. So if genealogy is established by the father, what is your spiritual genealogy? Oh, sure, you might be a direct descendant from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but do you live like a demon? Do you live like a Babylonian, an Egyptian, an American? Uh-oh, see, now you're mad. Now you're mad. You didn't know it would go that deep. You didn't know it went that deep, did you? And this is why most of us are going to be lost. We're going to be studying the Bible, reading the Bible, and guess what? The whole time we're reading the Bible and studying the Bible, guess what kind of character we're developing? The character of Satan. Y'all don't think that that's strange. Look at all these pastors we got that study the Bible in our neighborhoods. They're nothing but demons. They're nothing but demons, and they study the Bible. They've been to Bible college. They got PhDs, doctorate in divinities. A lot of them have memorized a lot of the Bible. But guess what? They got the character of Satan. Just like the Pharisees and Sadducees, scribes, the Herodians. They got the characters, the priests, the prophets, the ministers. They got the character of Satan. See, a lot of people think the word is just what's written. But the Bible clearly tells us the word is that which is spoken as well. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceed out of the Bible. No, it don't say the Bible. It says out of the mouth of the Most High. All the words that the Most High has spoken is not in the Bible. So I hope Brother Ezekiel 37 didn't take it the wrong way. He probably think I'm trying to snatch his Bible out of his hand. I hope he's not, because that's not the point. It really ain't. But people get a sound bite in their ear and they run when no man pursueth, because they've been spooked. I'm not saying that he had been. I'm just saying, I hope that that's not the case. So we're going to keep going with this, and I want you to hear the rest of this. So, as soon as I can find it.
Black person is called the N-word, that we're treated exactly the same by white society or society in general. That's very, very disingenuous. I mean, there are tons of mixed people who have come out and said that white people treat them better, you know, or when they're around white people, the way they talk about Black people is a little, you know, racist and is suspect, you know, and they feel more comfortable talking to them like that about Black people because they don't look as Black. It's because, you know, they're half of them. So to act like they don't treat somebody that's visibly half of them or white passing or whatever, like they would treat, you know, a quote unquote full black person or a Black person, a darker skinned Black person, to act like they're going to treat you exactly the same, you know, if they're racist, that's a little bit disingenuous. I'm not saying all of them would make the distinction or treat you differently or whatever, but for the most part, we know that they treat mixed race and biracial people a little bit better. And I think Megan's situation was just the fact that she was being married into royalty, and they had a problem with her having some.
Marilyn Markle is emblematic of the fact that they treat biracials better because she's actually married into the royal family, the Blue Bloods. That's prima facie evidence that that's true.
And shout out to LFG.
Hold on a
see
second.
them as Black.
I lost my place.
Mixed people also royalty, and they had a problem with her having some Negro DNA in her, period. You know, they had a problem with her mother being Black because she was, you know, gonna marry Prince Harry. But yeah, regardless of that, they absolutely still make the distinction. And they're certainly going to be able to make the distinction with their baby. Like, come on, like the baby, Prince Harry and Meghan's baby, it's going to be white. You know, that baby is not going to be Black. And it's probably not going to look Black. There's a very high chance that.
Now, listen to what she says. She says Marilyn Markle's baby is going to be white. And according to Numbers 18, it passed the snuff test. Yeah, it's going to be a white baby. Based on the seed of the father. Absolutely. But there's another dimension to this baby being white. And that's because of his ethnicity. And the baby's going to have the spirit of his father. The spirit. See, let me tell you something. There are some Black people, they are obviously Black. They're dark skinned. They was raised in the ghetto. But guess what? They're selective about what expression of how they express their ethnicity. They opt for a white ethnicity, a white social structure, white music, white foods, anything. They have a magnetism towards that. One of the reasons why Black people really can't really get together like we're supposed to. First of all, we have an affinity for white gods. Oh yeah, we are Black people. We've been raised in the hood. We express ourselves with Black ethnicity and lingo and colloquial expressions. But guess what? We still worship white Jesus. So if I would alter the title of this teaching here, the fourth dimension, watch this, if there was a fourth dimension, the fourth dimension of Blackness is what God you worship. That's interesting, isn't it? The fourth dimension of being Black, of your Blackness, is what God you worship. Marilyn Markle, if she's going to worship any God, she's going to worship a white one. Let's just keep that. So if there is a fourth dimension to Blackness or ethnicity or nationality, if there's a fourth, it's going to be what God you worship. So we can say justifiably that there's a fourth dimension to Blackness, and that is what God you worship. Last but not least, what God you worship. Not only in color, but in character. What God do you worship? You see? This is very fascinating to me. These are levels of nationality and race that are never fathomed. People never touch these aspects of race. Who you worship and your spirituality. Who is that? Hey. Oh, what you doing here? Oh, okay. How you doing, son? Bless.
You will not, this baby will not be visibly Black whatsoever. And when I tell you on my channel that phenotype is what matters the most to people and not genotype, this is what I'm talking about. Okay?
Okay, phenotype
is the way you look.
Right, is the way you look. That's all it is. And I think the reason why a lot of Black people don't know how Black they really are, neither do they know how Black anybody else is, because we don't know all the dimensions of Blackness. So you have how a person look. That's only one dimension of Blackness. Your ethnicity is one more dimension of your Blackness. So the way you look, your ethnicity, and what was the other one? I had another one. Yeah, your biology, of course. And the last one is what God you worship. Now, most people, when they talk about ethnicity, they're not going to bring up all this stuff. They're going to look at your phenotype. They're going to look at your DNA, how you look, and your biology. That's basically all they're going to look at. And yeah, and your ethnicity. And I would describe ethnicity as the expression, the expression and manifestation of that expresses your culture, your social group, your traditions. That's how I would describe ethnicity. A lot of people don't take that into account. So it's hard for us to even really know how Black we really are, because we can't really do the proper self-examination if the only thing that we look at is what? DNA, ethnicity, and the way we look. Besides that, we believe that we're Black. But what if you got all those things, but guess what? You worship a white God. You join that white God's army. You become a judge in that white God's legal system. You become a physician in that white God's medical system. You see how this thing can open up, and could overlook an aspect of your person in examining yourself that you've never seen before? Why? Because you don't know all the facets and pillars of establishing who you are as a race of people. Because you leave out some of these components. And I think all these components are very important. Let's keep going.
Sharon explicitly stated that Megan does not look Black. And that indicates that what a person looks like is what matters the most. Okay. If a person is white.
Now, I don't believe that. What a person looks like matters the most. It does matter, but not the most. Because looks can be deceiving. You got to take in more data to determine what something really is besides how it looks.
White passing, or in this case, to me, Meghan Markle with straight hair, which apparently, you know, I'm not gonna make any judgments about Meghan Markle. I like her, but apparently she doesn't want to look Black, you know, or she's always straightening her hair. And I'm just gonna call it like I see it. I have to say it like I see it, y'all. It looks like she wants to look other. Exactly. I'm just gonna be real. It looks like she wants to look other. She keeps her hair straight, which is fine. And whatever she wants to do is up to her. Okay. But to me, she looks Hispanic with her hair straight. Okay. And I think that's what she's going for. I think she's trying to look as non-Black as possible. Okay. But
yeah. And let me say this too, y'all. This is not just with Marilyn Markle. There are Black women who can pass as white. And guess what they do? They do. And let me tell you something. There are Black women who are Black. They come from two Black parents, but guess what? They carry themselves as white women. They may even be married to a Black husband. They really do. I've known women like this. I'm telling you, they love the fact that they have the look of racial ambiguity. They love it. They love that thing. They thrive off of it. They brag and boast about it. They fling their hair every 3 seconds. They're always strumming through their hair, just like what some white women do. And white women are not the only women that got long hair. Caucasian women are not the only women that have long hair, but they always playing in their hair. There's other women that got long hair, but you don't see them playing in their hair like white women be doing, like white teenage girls do. Always stroking it behind their ear, getting it out their face and all that kind of stuff. You don't see no other women doing that. So there are dimensions to this, y'all. It's not just you looking Black that makes you Black. And I think this is really we need to understand that, because if we're going to ever serve the Most High as a group of Black people who are Israelites, we're going to need to determine who is with us and who is not with us, whether they look like us or not. We're going to have to determine that, because if you don't establish that, you're going to have traitors in your camp. And they always are telegraphing these signals. They always do, but people too silly and they too ignorant to understand, you know what? This is a very, 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 very dark-skinned woman, but she has an affinity for whiteness. Guess what she really is then? Even though she's obviously Black, guess what she's a white woman. She's a white woman. Her heart is with white people. The Bible says wherever your heart is, that's where your treasure is going to be. Your treasure is not with no Black father. Your treasure is with white zaddy.
If a person passes as something else, it doesn't matter what they actually are unless you tell them. Unless you just beat it over their heads, oh, I'm black, I'm black, I'm black, I'm black. Then it doesn't really matter, what you are. Okay, if you look.
It does matter what you are. And you just can't base it on how a person's look. You just can't. That's only one pillar. There are like 3 or 4 pillars to this thing. You can't just base it on how somebody looks. Human beings are multi-dimensional.
Like something else, right? And the same goes for a mixed person or a biracial person that may look black and doesn't look racially ambiguous at all. Doesn't matter how much you say you're mixed, people are going to see you as a black person. Okay. And obviously, in this situation, Meghan Markle, her mother is black. Doria, she's black. She's a light-skinned black woman. And like I've stated, in the past, I've talked about Meghan Markle in several videos, right? But I don't see Meghan Markle being a duchess as a direct win for Black women. Okay. But yes, Black women with biracial children or biracial daughters in particular, it's a win for them because, Doria, she is a beneficiary of that win because hell.
See, let me tell you, I want to show you another way. All right, baby. I want to show you another way that we know that Marilyn Markle is a white lady because her mother has an affinity for white men. That's how she was made. So now she's the second generation. She's white, y'all. She's white. And if I would add a 5th dimension to this, a 5th pillar to establishing a person's ethnicity, I would base it on the parentage. When I say parentage, I mean the preference of the parent. If the parents they have a predisposition for all things Caucasian, 9 out of 10, the child is going to grow up that way and have that same bent. Not necessarily, but as a rule. Her mother obviously is proud that she is a light-skinned woman. Not only is she a light-skinned woman, she went after a white man, producing Marilyn Markle. And Marilyn Markle, she gets the prince. So her mother is quite proud. This is a come up for her. This is a come up for her grandchildren. So this is so yeah, Marilyn Markle is a white girl. She's Caucasian. She's down with all things white. There's very little black in this girl. And let's say she looked like this and her father was black. Let's say she looked like this and her father was black. Let's say that Marilyn Markle looked the very same way she looked, but her father was black, darker than me. And she came out looking the way that she looks. Well, the other thing that I would look at to determine what her real nationality is would be the same factors. What kind of food does she eat? What is her social network like? What kind of circles do she move in? She have fun with? What type of entertainment she's into? What type of friends do she have? You see? And if all her friends are Caucasians and she got a black mother and a black father and she come out looking the way she look and she don't even want to have anything to do with really blackness, guess what? She's still a white woman. Now, I know this sounds crazy, but she's still a white woman. She aspired to that. That's where her heart is. Y'all, do not underestimate where a person's heart is. I don't care how they look. I don't care how they dress. Look where their heart is. That's going to tell you a whole lot. And the abundance of the heart, the mouth is going to express what's in the heart. So I know a lot of black, dark-skinned people who are really white. They really white in their thinking, their hopes, their desires, their dreams, their joys are all in whiteness. And they are darker than me. Some of them are my brothers, sisters, and even parents. They don't love black people. They don't. They love people who can oppress another group of people that's under their foot. They love that. They love that thing. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Her black mother, Meghan Markle's black mother, is reaping the benefits of her daughter's.
Now she's calling Marilyn Markle's mother black because she has locks and it looks obviously black. She's just light skinned. Marilyn Markle's mother is white. Not by color, but by spirit, by hopes, by desires. Her dream, her heart is with whiteness and always has been, probably since she was a little girl. This is what people get wrong about establishing people's race. They forget these other dimensions that you can't really see. You can't really put into on a petri dish.
Union to Prince Harry. Okay, and that should be noted. Okay, we're not going to sit here and act like her mother is not winning from that situation because she is.
Oh, yeah, she is.
But no, this is a direct win for biracial women. Okay, this is something that they should celebrate as being a win for them. And I do take issue with Black women not making this distinction. Okay, everybody but you.
Let me tell you this. I know this stuff is really deep. Yeah, let me tell you something. Not only is Marilyn Markle biracial, but her mother is biracial. See, biracialness shouldn't just be established on your phenotype. It shouldn't only be established based on your ethnicity, but it should be based on, well, you see what I'm saying? Your ethnicity should, where's your heart at? Where's your desire at? Where's your mind, your hopes, your dreams? What makes you happy? Nobody quantifies those things as an aspect or a determiner on where your race, what your race is. Most Black people, most so-called Black people are biracial. And they just don't know it. So I'm giving you a psychoanalyst perspective of this whole thing. It's based on character, spirituality. There are many other facets to establishing a person's race than just the way that they look, their ethnicity, and who they worship. Let's keep going.
Black women is saying that this woman isn't Black. And this is precisely the reason why mixed women and their image will be elevated over yours always, because you allow it to happen. This is precisely why they will always have their throne in the Black community. Because Black women don't want to allow them to be who they are, even when they're telling us who they are. So what happens is we open the door for them to come in and represent us and erase us in the media, then we turn around and complain about it. I mean, we are claiming them harder than they claim themselves.
Exactly.
Okay, and
oh, that's so true. That's so true. Black people, so-called Black people, dark-skinned people, let me just say it that way, they claim biracial people way harder than they claim us. That just shows so much desperation to be white, as far as I'm concerned.
When I just talked about the.
Let them have them people, y'all. Let them have them.
Rock and John Henry, Black men can get away with doing this, and it would be different if we had the promotional advantage that Black men have, dark-skinned Black men in particular have, where the media has made them specifically the face of Black manhood. It's easier for them to be hypocritical and inconsistent with this and make biracial men, Black women, convenient. When they see a win with biracial men, like for instance Barack Obama or somebody like that, when they see a win with biracial men, yeah, they'll champion him and say he's Black. But it's easier for them to do that because they have that dark-skinned male promotion to fall back on. Okay. And like I said, in my video about John Henry and The Rock, and I've said it in videos before this when I talked about Black male erasure that's going on in the media, that is slowly starting to change as far as, the face of Black manhood, and some Black men, they are seeing that. Somebody left a video of a guy here on YouTube talking about it. So, after that, it's like, they're like, hold on, wait a minute. They're speaking up about their erasure, and it's coming slowly but surely. And I think when it starts to happen, more and more Black men will start to speak up about it. But as of now, a lot of Black men just really don't care because they, have enough promotion, and it's usually dark-skinned Black men that are the face of Black manhood in white media. Okay, but Black women and dark-skinned Black women in particular, we don't have the luxury of claiming mixed women when convenient, because the same media that makes dark-skinned Black men the face of Black manhood makes light-skinned and mixed race women the face of Black womanhood.
Exactly,
okay?
That's
and
true.
We are in a situation where literally any woman, no matter how they look, okay, can represent a Black woman. And
exactly.
It creates a situation where dark-skinned women in particular.
That is an interesting phenomenon. Any woman could represent a Black woman. Any woman could represent a Black woman. It's just, and most of the time, it's a very, very light-skinned lady or a biracial. But a Black woman can't represent a Black woman in most cases. Look at these videos, music videos and commercials and stuff.
Are consistently pushed at the bottom, to the bottom. Okay, so in order to counter that, Black women, we need to stop opening the door for them to come in and represent us, and we need to stop financially supporting that. Okay, and so when we get on these talk shows and we're like, no, she Black, she Black, she Black, I'm like, oh my God, it's just a bad look. It's a bad look. And when I see women who are as dark as Cheryl Underwood and other Black women like Eve fighting for women like Meghan Markle to be Black, I just think to myself, this is why they will never lose their throne. This is why mixed women will always be considered Black royalty in the Black community. And
y'all gotta admit it. Very, very light-skinned women and biracial women are Black royalty. If anybody disagree with me, let me know in the comment section. I like to hear what you got to say. Do you believe that light-skinned women and biracial women are the Black royalty? And the order is biracial women first, light-skinned women second. I think there's a third. Light-skinned biracial women are the queens of Black women. Then it's Black women who are racially ambiguous. They're second. And then right under them is light-skinned women are third. What do y'all think about that?
Will always be considered the quote unquote pretty Black women in the Black community. Okay. And I know that Eve is married to a white man. You know, I saw some people, because I Googled this and I saw some people talking about it. And they were saying that because she's with a white man, that's why she takes this stance. But clearly, Black women don't have to be with non-Black men to claim biracial women.
That's true.
Black. Like, we're going to do it anyway.
That's true.
I mean, we can be with the blackest man, have the blackest babies, and still be like, she's Black too. Like, it does not matter.
Right.
It does not matter.
Exactly.
We do it regardless, you know, whether we are in an interracial relationship or not. But I definitely think Eve, I think that she needs to come to terms with this if she plans on having kids, because her kids will be mixed. And, you know, I don't know if I'm pretty sure Eve is like in her late 30s or early 40s. Like, so I don't know. She may not want to even have kids. She strikes me as that type that really doesn't want kids. I could be wrong. But you know, she needs to come to terms with this if she plans on having mixed children. And I'm going to talk about this more in detail in another video, but I think that this, you know, I don't know if you want to call it a dilemma or conflict that Black women have, you know, dark-skinned women in particular that we have when it comes to swirling and producing non-Black children. I think that we need to discuss this more, and I think we need to discuss it more honestly, because as long as you try to force Blackness on your biracial children, and especially your daughters, and, you know, put them in Black spaces like they are Black, there will always be an inner conflict, and you are always going to be or feel compromised.
What has lasted 5,000 years was one
compromised in that situation, you know, and it's like you just need to accept that they are biracial, and you know, you need to accept that biracial and Black are two different things. Okay. And it doesn't mean you hate your daughter, you know, it doesn't mean you wanting to elevate your image that does not look like hers means that you hate her, you know. And I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about it in another video, but like I said in my video about I think her name was Denise Lawton, biracial or mixed, or however you want to put it, those are not bad words. Okay. It's not hateful or divisive to make the distinction between Black and biracial. You know, just because we're saying that Megan is not Black and she's biracial doesn't mean we hate her, doesn't mean we're completely, you know, stripping her of her Blackness completely. She's half Black. So how can we do that? All we're doing is acknowledging the other side. You know, it's like that's all we're doing here. So I don't see why people get so offended when we say that. It's not a bad thing to make the distinction between Black and biracial or mixed, especially when mixed and biracial people like Meghan Markle are making the distinction themselves. And I just cannot grasp or understand why a Black woman as dark as Cheryl Underwood would sit there and insinuate that Meghan Markle is just as Black as she is. Really? Really? Y'all, Black women,
that's funny.
Make sure to share.
We have to be more mindful of how we look.
Click that bell so that you always get notifications whenever I post a video and you never miss an update. While you're there, make sure to subscribe to my backup page.
It really does make us look bad, and it makes us look desperate.
Exactly.
It does. I know you hate to hear that, but it really does. And I don't think it's a bad thing to like Meghan Markle. I like her. I love her personality. You know, I don't think it's a bad thing to like her.
But anyway, that's enough of that. Now I want to read some of these comments. Okay. I mean, Obama hates himself and others that look like him. That means all so-called black he resent deeply. Uh-huh. The only royalty is the house of David, which is well hidden. Exactly. I agree. I agree. Getting back to this girl, she signals the end of the British royal rule. That's interesting. But anyway, yeah, I just came on here just to break down to you all that there are more dimensions to your blackness, your race, your nationality than just how you look and your customs and who your daddy is. There are more dimensions to it than those, y'all. And it's high time that we understand this so we'll know who's really on our side for real, and who's not. You know, because I don't like the fact that, you know, you see Hebrew Israelites standing out in the corner and they just see a black person walk past and say, "See you, Israel." This guy might be the biggest white supremacist on earth. But because he got black skin, you tell him he's Israel. No, let's don't hand that out so quickly. You know, what kind of spirit do they have? What kind of character do they have? They might be your enemy. You can have enemies in your own family, y'all. They're your brothers and sisters and parents. So you can't tell me you can't have no enemy that is black and look just like you. You can't tell me that. But anyway, I don't know if there's going to be a part 2 to this. But if something else comes to me, I might do a part 2. But yeah, there's more to race, y'all, than just. What about Serena Williams? This is a good question here. I like this. What about Serena Williams? Is she black or white? Well, I'm going to tell you, with the excuse that she gave in her last tennis match at the US Open, she was acting like a white girl. And let me tell you this. You got to watch some people, Ezekiel 37. See, some black people, they'll be white on some days, and some days they'll be black. Oh, boy, I'm glad you asked that question. See, on some days, and I want to tell you how I look at people like that who straddle the fence, who try to walk on both sides. I consider them enemies. I consider them white. I consider them another nation. I don't care who their daddy is. I don't care how black their daddy is. I don't care. I don't care how black their daddy is. If you start acting white around me and being sympathetic towards white people doing wicked stuff and start cooning it up and tap dancing and buck dancing, I'm going to look at you as white. I'm going to look at you as white. We really need to take in consideration that there are other dimensions to establishing a person's nationality. We got to really watch that. A lot of the baby boomers, y'all, a lot of the baby boomers who raised up black children and married black women, wives and husbands, who came up through the 50s and 60s, guess what? They really white people in disguise. All that fighting for civil rights, That's what they was calling it, civil rights. Really what it was a right to get pat on the head by white mommy and white daddy by giving up all your businesses in your community. You forfeit all the businesses in your community just so you can shop at a store where you can see white people. Just walk past white people. That's the civil rights movement. That's just a euphemism for, I just want white people to just see me. I just want to see white people. I just want to be able to walk past them. I just want to walk past a white person and hear them say, "Excuse me." I just want to be in their presence and feel the Shekinah come off of them. That's all the civil rights movement really was, y'all. We was looking for white approval and a chance to explore white sexuality. That's all the civil rights movement really was, y'all. We didn't get no power from the civil rights movement, none. The only power we got was to mate with them. That was it. And that's why most of our parents are coons. And they're gonna die coons. Who is the Christianity and the other false religion? What about our families? What about our families? Well, obviously Christianity is a white man's religion. It's the religion of our enemies. It's obvious. That's obvious. That's been proven over and over and over. Serena, I think what happened with Serena was that she was twerking with all the rappers and hanging out and tricking for all the rappers and stuff, and none of them wiped her up. And I think that really hurt Serena. I think Serena was hurt when no rapper wifed her. No football player wifed her. And I think what happened in desperation, she ran over to Zaddy. I think in desperation, she ran over to Zaddy. And she said, you know what? I don't want to be white. But you know what? Zaddy's the only one that wants to marry me. Zaddy is the only one I can make marry me. So I think that's what happened with Serena Williams. I think she just like, hey, whatever. I gotta have a baby. I gotta have a baby. No rapper wanted to wife me. So, whatever. They just wanted to smut me out at these rap shows where I was twerking. Let's schedule a fasting prayer meeting and pray for each other. Okay, that's good. Well, I don't know if Serena is a man or not. I don't even get into that kind of stuff. I really don't. But if she's a man, hey, more power to him. If she's a man, more power to her. Whatever. I don't know. It's no way I could tell. There's no way. I'm not into her like that. I never have been. I never have been. I don't get into conspiracies like that. Exactly. Exactly. Esau and Jacob were brothers. I don't know what you mean by that, but I'm sure you do. But my point is this, y'all. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Forgive me. Mega Earth. I mean, what about our families who are in Christianity and other false religion and most likely don't want to listen to us because we are telling the truth about who we really are? That's what I mean. Well, let me say this, Raphael. The Most High is going to judge the intents of men's hearts. Okay? The Most High is going to judge people's intents of their heart, and you're going to judge them by the truth that they say that they believe. He's going to judge them by what they say they believe, not what they didn't know, not what they never heard, not what, no. He's going to say, okay, the Most High is going to take an inventory of what you did believe, and he's going to judge you by that. He's going to judge you by that. Most people are going to fail even that test. Most people are going to fail the test on stuff they say they believe, and they could prove to themselves they knew it. He gonna judge them based on that, and they still not gonna make it. Forget about the stuff they didn't know. Forget about the stuff they didn't accept. When the Most High judged the intents of their heart about what they did accept and what they did know was right, most people still ain't gonna make it. It ain't gonna be no need to mention the stuff that they didn't accept. I think people obsess about learning so much. But the Bible talks about those that are learning but never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. They never are. No matter how many scriptures they memorize, no matter how many times they read the Bible, no matter how many times they preach and teach and prophesy, guess what? They never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Even though they got scriptures tattooed on their forehead, they never was able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Never. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here, y'all. You all have a wonderful evening. This is Prophet Rohei Nabi signing out. I hope this lesson helps you to be able to judge yourself on where your heart is. Is your heart really with the people of the Most High based on these other pillars of determining your nationality? Because Hebrew Israelites, the only pillar there is who your daddy was. Who was your daddy and how black you look. That's it. Those are the only two pillars. That's it. Where your spirit is, nobody cares. You're black. So yeah, you're Israelite. Not necessarily, y'all. All right. Y'all take it easy. Shalom.